All right, thank you very much for joining me again. This is Gulpain, back waiting for the camera to focus. I think it's focused now. So in this video, I'm going to go through a few games that disappointed me. So basically, I was really kind of like hyped, like looking forward to the game, or perhaps, I liked one of the previous games in the series or something like that, and then it was just like super disappointing, and I was like, oh no. So like very disappointing. So let's have a quick look. Alright, so one game that really disappointed me, and I think a lot of people are in the same boat as me, is Final Fantasy 13. So, like, I loved Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8, absolutely fantastic. Final Fantasy 9, not so much. Final Fantasy 10, loved it, played it from start to finish. Didn't play Final Fantasy 11 because it was online. And then Final Fantasy 12 was good. Wasn't as good as the previous ones, but you saw it was kind of going more mainstream, or like Star Wars or something, I don't know, it was weird. And then Final Fantasy 13, I remember getting it on the Xbox 360 and playing it, and it was really linear. Now I don't mind linear games, that's fine, but it wasn't like the Final Fantasy that I knew and loved. It still had like this kind of fantasy aesthetic and all that, and the graphics were really good and the sound was fine. But basically, I played it, and I wanted to give it a chance because other games start off slow, and then I got to Odin and I couldn't beat him. So I don't know if it's random or whatever, or I don't know what I was doing, and I went and leveled up and everything, and I came back and I still couldn't beat him. So then I just gave up. I was like, screw this, So it wasn't that far into the game either when that happened. So I was like really disappointed about it, and it made me not want to play the rest of the game. And I never actually played it, or Final Fantasy 13 2 or whatever, Lightning Returns and all those as well. So I've never actually gotten into Final Fantasy 13 at all, because of that initial sort of disappointment. So I'm sure I'm not alone there, because a lot of people were complaining about Final Fantasy 13. Another game that I was disappointed with was Broken Sword 3. Now, I wasn't disappointed with it to say that I don't like it, because I really do like Broken Sword 3. It's just the way the first game was and the second game were, like they were like hand-drawn, like, animation, like the story was kind of down to earth. It wasn't like a fantasy story or like that. It was kind of what could potentially happen in like a mystery sort of story. And then by the time you get to Broken Sword 3, then it's kind of like, I don't know, like if anyone's played it, at the end you fight a dragon. So I was like, fighting a dragon? Wait, this isn't Broken Sword. Yeah, it's kind of a bit weird. And all the box puzzles as well. I didn't like all the box puzzles. And there was just so many, like they changed it from like 2D to 3D, and then they went mental on the moving stuff. We got to we got to move stuff, so I don't know. I still like Broken Sword 3. Like I was just disappointed that it wasn't as good as the first two, or it's not as good as 4 or 5 either. It's just a different style of game than the first 2 or 4 or 5, but happily they've gone back to the normal way of doing it. So not that Broken Sword 3 is a bad game, just I was a bit disappointed with it. Another one I was disappointed with was Bioshock Infinite. So Bioshock 1, loved it, played it from start to finish, absolutely fantastic. I love the bees, when you do the bees, and or is that Bioshock 2? Anyway, one of them anyway, where you do the magic things. I stopped using the weapons and I started using the magic all the time. But Bioshock 2 is good as well. It's not as good as the first one though. So whatever they had in the first one, I think it was the story was really good. Like, the characters talking to you all the time and sending you to different places. In the second one, you're one of the big daddies, which is a bit different, but I don't know, it's just a bit weirder. And then Bioshock Infinite, then I thought that was terrible. Like, I mean, I played the first part of it where you're in the city, and then like all these weird people are chasing after you, but I don't know what it is, I just couldn't get into it. Maybe I just like the underwater aesthetic. I was kind of disappointed about it, and I didn't finish it, or didn't play it. I only played it for about an hour or something, so maybe I just didn't give it a chance, but I don't know. Another one I was disappointed with on the PSP was Dragonair's Aria. So I was just after playing The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky, loved it. Really good RPG. And then The Legend of Heroes Radiant Mythology, or some Legend of Heroes game, which is an action RPG, so really, really good RPGs on the PSP. Then I got Dragonair's Aria. I was a bit apprehensive because it was like, I think it was like £8, so I was like, £8, maybe this isn't going to be that good. I got it anyway, and like the graphics are great, but it's so like hard, like it's just so difficult, so it was quite disappointing because I was looking forward to playing another PSP RPG. And then in the similar vein to Dragonair's Aria, I was really disappointed with Blade Dancer as well on PSP. It's the same style as Dragonair's Aria, but basically like it's just so difficult, like, or I don't, maybe I'm just doing something wrong in the two games, but like I'm pretty good at RPGs, like, but I don't know what it is, it's just so difficult, it's like too hard. I think you have to grind in them like way more than normal, so it's kind of very disappointing. That I don't know, just didn't get it right. Like they got it really right in those other PSP games. So I don't know. So that's a few games that disappointed me. If you've got any games that disappointed you, I encourage you to leave your games in the comment section below. Alternatively, you can make a video response yourself. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.